Hondamatic Garage, we're going to talk about plastics. Many cars have plastic parts on the interiors, and especially if the interior is white, things tend to go yellow over time, just from UV light and sunlight. I'm going to show you a technique that I've been using for years to remove the yellowing and actually make the white parts white again. And this works on blue parts, gray parts, any interior part that has yellowed over time. That time can actually be reversed and make it look new again. I'm not talking about spray painting or anything like that. I'm not talking about using bleach, which doesn't work. I'm not talking about spray dyes or anything like that. I'm actually talking about reversing the yellowing process and making the plastic white again. Just as an example, since I don't actually have a white piece of plastic right now, the interior on my car is black, so I don't have to worry about it. But if you have a white interior or blue interior, this will be of great interest to you. So what I'm going to use right now is this old toy. Now, this toy is supposed to look like this. See how nice and bright white it is? Well, the back kind of turned a yellowy cream color. So this toy was probably sitting outside, laying face down, and the back got severely yellowed. So I'm going to show you how to undo the yellowing and make the whole toy nice and white. This is my nifty little invention, the Retro Bright Oven. This is so that if you want to reverse that yellowing process on plastics, you use this. Anybody who grew up in the 70s or 80s, yeah, you'll recognize this. It's a Light Bright, a modified Light Bright. As you can see, I've added 2 ultraviolet lights. This is just tin foil that has been put inside. So how does retro brighting work? It's really simple. 2 ingredients: ultraviolet light and hydrogen peroxide. Now this is Salon 40. It contains 40% hydrogen peroxide. Some guys like to use the sunlight. I like to use my retro brighting oven, and you simply apply the hydrogen peroxide directly to the plastic, apply ultraviolet light, let it bake for a while. You'll watch the yellowing process reverse. So I like to use this little bottle, hydrogen peroxide, and just apply it directly to the plastic. Now if there's any areas that you don't want the hydrogen peroxide to get to, use our good old friend Vaseline. So you can put it on painted areas, chromed areas, anywhere where you don't want the process reversed, because this stuff can react with some paints. You don't want that to happen. Okay, and now I've finished applying the hydrogen peroxide to the plastic. Now I take my modified Light Bright with 2 ultraviolet lights and put it over top. Let's plug this in. Simply put that over top. Now we're going to let this sit for how many ever hours it takes. Different types of plastic will be affected in different ways by this process. Sometimes you come back in an hour and the plastic will be bright white. Other times you come back 3 days later, the yellowing's a little diminished, but you're still going to have to leave it, sometimes up to a week, 2 weeks, in order to get a nice white finish. So let this sit. We'll come back in, I don't know, maybe later on this afternoon or something, and see how we are. Alright, so I have let this sit overnight. Last night I actually came and checked on it, and the yellowing had sort of diminished a little, but I decided to add a second coat and leave it for 24 hours to see what had happened. So let's open it up and see where we're at. And here we are. As you can see, the yellowing on the plastic is gone. This toy looks essentially brand new again. This is the same toy that I put on here yesterday. All the same markings. I didn't do a switch, not pulling any movie magic. But it has remove the yellowing. Now some plastics will take to this very well, others can take time. Sometimes you'll have to put it in there and an hour and it turns completely white. Others, 2-3 days, eventually it'll turn white. So different types of plastic take to this process differently, but it does work. So now imagine doing this to car interior parts, door panels, armrests. Anything that is turned yellow and should be white will work. This also works on gray parts, blue parts, anything that is yellowed. It is effective.